You're playing the game sort of one-sided from that point, trying to play catch-up. But I also told them, like, we need to move on from this one as fast as possible because we got a short week and our only focus needs to be on Michigan State and performing well and playing well and trying to get a win on the road in East Lansing.
Ryan, they opened it up with the 2 touchdown runs where guys were untouched. It was an explosive pass where guys just waiting to get the ball in the end zone. Like, beyond just today, why is this defense still so fundamentally flawed this far into your second season?
Yeah, it's very disappointing. I don't, other than that, obviously we'll have conversations in house. But yeah, it's inexcusable to have guys, wide open or guys not being touched on explosive runs. Like that can't happen. And I know we got a lot of young guys playing, but like you said, it's happened a lot. So it is disappointing.
Ryan, is it mostly execution, or do you feel there's a talent gap between you and a lot of the teams on your schedule so far this year?
I mean, when you look at the schedule in its totality, obviously it's a tough one, right? But we knew that going into the season, and I think there's a combination of a lot of things that have led to where we are right now. Obviously the strength of the schedule and the combination of not executing and having mental errors and mental busts. That's not a great combination.
Obviously, a season like this brings forward a lot more questions than it does answers. What has been the hardest question to get answered so far?
The hardest question from who?
As a program, as a team. Like for you, as a head coach this year, there's obviously a lot more questions than there are answers. What's been the hardest question for you to get answered so far this year?
I'm not sure. I've been asked a lot of questions. I've been asked a lot of questions by a lot of people. So I think, that's what I'll say about that.
Other questions? Go back to Tom.
I guess, how do you just keep going, right? It's got to be frustrating week in and week out, staying positive and just trying to keep this thing pushed forward.
Yeah, I think it's awkward to ask, like, how you keep going. You know what I mean? Like, this is my job. I'm competitive, and we've got a game on Friday, so it's not like you don't need motivation to keep going. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm built for this. I feel like we have identified some things that need to change. We are fully prepared to going into next season and going into these last 2 games. And so there doesn't need to be any added motivation or like I'm not hanging my head and wallowing in sorrow. Like I've got a job to do, and I've got 120 guys in the locker room who are looking to me to point them in the right direction and keep them motivated and moving forward. And so again, has the season been difficult? Absolutely. Like I'm competitive, and so when you don't win, I don't care if you're playing cards or you're playing in the Super Bowl. Like it sucks. I hate it. But I also know where we're going. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what this program is capable of if everybody's on the same page. And so that's what gets me excited and keeps me motivated because I believe that this is a good job, and I believe in what we're doing and how we're doing it. Obviously, I think there's things that we need to look at and evaluate and to help us moving forward. But if I know who I am, I know the people that I care about and that I value, like their opinions of me. But I know me. I know who I am, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know what this program is capable of, and what that's going to look like moving forward.
Ryan, obviously, current state of college sports, at the end of the season, there's going to be guys who leave this program. You're going to go get guys to come into this program. How are you navigating that already with a couple of weeks left in the season? And does it become something that affects
roster decisions you're making, playing decisions you're making? Do you have to set that all aside? How do you, as a head coach, how do you figure that out?
Yeah, we figured it out very strategically, right? You know, you gotta evaluate the roster in its entirety and identify, you know, who you can't let walk out the door. You know what I mean? You know, I feel like we have learned from that as a program, and so like obviously with the new rules that have changed with revenue share and transfer portal and the size of the roster, like absolutely we're in talks almost every day with that specific department within our program. And so, you know, we've already began discussions with guys on our roster about their plans for the future and where we see them in terms of their status on our team. You know what I mean? So you got to navigate it carefully, strategically, and you got to have open and honest and transparent conversation.
Are you more confident today that you'll be able to successfully keep your best players than you were able to last year?
Absolutely.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, thanks, Coach. Love players in Shoreman.